Hey, Koen, and today I'm going to review the entry of Denmark at Eurovision 2023, Reiley with the song Breaking My Heart. Denmark picked their Eurovision entry this year with the national final Dansk Melodi Grand Prix, like they do basically every year. 8 songs competed in this national final to represent Denmark at Eurovision this year. 3 songs ended up in the super final of the show after a televoting round and the voting of different regions and autonomous territories of Denmark. The winner of the super final was decided by 50% televotes and 50% jury votes. And the jury vote consisted of votes from 5 different people. Reiley won this super final with the song Breaking My Heart, mostly thanks to the jury votes, which one of the participants, Niklas Sonne, did not really appreciate. On Facebook he posted, "What? I won Melody Grand Prix. Denmark voted for me and my song. What? If it only had been the Danish listeners, then there were most votes on freedom. It was one judge that decided I didn't win." The translation is thanks to Twitter user Tima Samgran. Sorry if I did not pronounce it right. There were some complaints about the app that was being used for the televotes crashing during the live shows because it was being overused, but the program manager of the broadcaster organizing the national final said that this did not impact the final results. Before the national final even took place, there were already talks about Reiley possibly being disqualified from Dansk Melodi Grand Prix because he performed the song in October, which is not against Eurovision rules, since songs are eligible to compete in the Eurovision Song Contest from the 1st of September before the contest takes place, but it is against the rules of the Danish broadcaster. Yet he obviously was not disqualified because he won. The song later got a slight revamp with some bird sounds being added to the intro of the song, but it wasn't really noticeably changed. Like, it wasn't announced or anything that there was going to be a revamp. There was the new version released. The song that was already released was just slightly changed, I think. Reiley is originally from the Faroe Islands and is the first Faroese Eurovision participant ever. After he won the national final, there was already some controversy surrounding Reiley and his age. He claimed to be 20 for some reason, but in reality he's 25 years old. This was revealed when a photo of his driver's license was posted on the internet. There were already some talks about him being an industry plant. For example, he has more than 10 million followers on TikTok, yet his amount of Spotify streams and Instagram followers doesn't really seem to match that number and that whole picture. The fact that he and his label seem to be lying about his age, claiming he is 5 years younger than he actually is, all really feeds into the speculations of him being an industry plant. When he was being asked about his age, he responded with, "I am ageless, I am like Peter Pan." My personal favorite of the national final of Denmark was Aya with the song I Was Gonna Marry Him. I was pretty disappointed that they didn't make it to the super final, especially since they were also one of the big fan favorites this year of the Danish national final. Another entry I saw a lot of people liked was Ligge Her by Søren Dorpegard Lund. I hadn't listened to it yet, I just listened to it recently just because I wanted to know what the song was like before I recorded this video. And I gotta say, I also really like that song. I think it's also a shame that that song didn't make it to the super final either. I do not dislike Breaking My Heart. I think it's an okay song. I'm just not too sure about Reiley's live performances that I've seen. Like, sometimes he sounds okay in the live performances and sometimes he does not. I do think that he's one of the most hated Eurovision participants this year if you look at his comments on TikTok, and I think that's also weird behavior. I think we should condemn hate, because as much as you can dislike an entry or as you cannot agree with the winner of a national final, I don't think you should actively hate on someone. Though I do think it's pretty weird that they're lying about his age, he and his label. I don't really get why they're lying about his age. I saw this theory that he and his label are lying about his age because he's a famous TikToker and they're trying to be more appealing to the younger TikTok demographic since there are more younger TikTok users. Yet I'm not sure if this theory is totally grounded, but it sounds like something a bit realistic. But still, I think it's pretty weird to be lying about your age and to respond to these accusations of you lying about your age with, "I am ageless, I am like Peter Pan." I don't really get it, and I also thought it was kind of remarkable to say the least when it was revealed. And also, it's so weird that he's older than so many Eurovision participants this year. Like, how? I do think Denmark should change their approach to Eurovision, because the national final never really blows anyone away, I feel like. I don't really see a lot of people talking about the Danish national final in a positive way or a praising way, and I can't imagine that there aren't any amazing artists with amazing Eurovision winner worthy songs in Denmark who want to participate in Eurovision. and who wants to perform on a big Eurovision stage. I mean, we know from 2014 that Denmark is a great Eurovision host, so I would really like to see Eurovision being hosted in Denmark again, but I do really hope that Denmark will put that effort in with their songs to make that happen in the future, maybe, you know? Because we have also never really gotten a song like Only Teardrops, with which they won in 2013 in recent years, which screams Eurovision winner or contender for the Eurovision victory from Denmark. Maybe they could go internal, maybe select Ben and 10, who won Dance Melody Grand Prix in 2020 and didn't get to perform in Eurovision because the contest was cancelled, and also weren't internally reselected for next year, and also weren't allowed to compete in Dance Melody Grand Prix next year because they would have had an unfair advantage. I think the argument was for that. I think it was really weird to not let them participate again. I really hope we will see Ben and 10 for Denmark on the Eurovision stage someday, hopefully soon. So maybe they could go internal with that. I'm just saying something. I don't know if the Danish broadcast will actually consider something like that, but I would like to see Denmark change their approach to Eurovision. I'm not really sure where I see Denmark end up this year, if I'm honest. Look, Denmark is opening the second semi-final, which is the weak one this year out of the two. That's an advantage, and song-wise, I think Denmark has an okay chance at qualifying. It's just the performances that I've seen of Reiley that kind of make me skeptical about Denmark's qualifying chances. To me personally, Reiley's stage presence feels like he is filming a TikTok video, and I'm not sure if that'll translate well to the Eurovision audience. Add to that his vocals aren't always that stable and steady. Like, sometimes he performs okay, other times he doesn't really sound that great. That kind of makes me doubt Denmark's qualifying chances. It's also only happened twice before that both entries opening both semifinals of Eurovision qualify to the grand final. Maybe this year it'll also happen. You'd think with almost 11 million TikTok followers that a televote only semifinal would make Denmark a sure qualifier. But if you look at the rest of his followers, like on Instagram for example, or his Spotify streams, you could doubt that. I mean, he did not even win the televote of his own national final. I mean, I've seen people compare Reiley's huge following on TikTok to Sam Ryder's huge following on TikTok, who became the runner-up of Eurovision last year, but I think there's a big difference. I don't really think that's a good argument, since Sam Ryder obviously is a great vocalist. He's always consistently performing really well, and Reiley is not, and definitely not on Sam Ryder's level. I mean, Sam Ryder won the jury vote of last year, but I still think there is a chance for Denmark to qualify to the grand final. I mean, looking at how the song itself sounds good enough to qualify, and televoters don't always look that critically at a vocal performance during the Eurovision Song Contest. So who knows, it is possible, especially in this weak second semi-final. So to conclude, even though Breaking My Heart wasn't my favorite song of the Danish national final, I think the song is okay. I do think Reiley's performances aren't that great, and there's definitely room for improvement there. I think Denmark has a chance of qualifying, since Denmark is in the second semi-final, which is the weak one this year. If his vocals are good during the second semi-final, I think he has a shot at qualifying. Also, if the staging is done well and it is not too TikTok-y and we don't get that TikTok feeling, because I don't really think that works on the Eurovision stage. If that is all taken care of and done well and executed well, Denmark has a chance of qualifying, I think. Otherwise, I would kind of doubt their qualifying chances. And that's about all for now. What do you think of Breaking My Heart? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you liked this video, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully until next time. Be safe.